Hey guys, it's Doc, and today's question is, should I overseed Bermuda sod? I'm going to answer that for you real quick. Hold on. So the question of the day is, should I overseed my Bermuda sod? And the answer is a resounding no. No, 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 no. Overseeding Bermuda sod is probably one of the biggest mistakes I've seen that a lot of homeowners do. They think my Bermuda grass isn't that strong, I've got a whole bunch of weeds here, it's an old sod lawn, whatever it might be. And of course, the natural instinct, like with fescue, is that you can just overseed it and everything will be great. It's not true. And I'm going to go over a couple of points. There's 99.9% of the time you should not overseed a lawn. You should also not use seed to repair patches in a lawn. Never do that. Never repair spots in a Bermuda sod lawn with seed. Ever. Never do that. Let me explain why. The basic reason is that every Bermuda grass has a different texture. It has a different growing pattern. It has a different leaf pattern. It has a different color. It just has a different overall structure to it. And so trying to match those is very difficult. Almost all lawns have hybrid Bermuda sod. That's what almost all lawns, and it's done that way so that it's made that way. One of the characteristics is that it grows very short, very, very fine, drought tolerant, has a certain color, and it's very consistent. Grows very thick. That's what hybrid sod does, and that's what the majority of lawns use. So when you go put seed on top of that from a different variety, you're going to have a different growth pattern. It's going to look completely different. It's going to grow at a different rate than the other ones do. It's going to have a different color. It's going to have a different, everything about it is going to be different. It's just not going to look right. So the only time you really want to overseed is when you have almost a complete loss of sod. But most people, a lot of people think that a complete loss is different, and I'm going to explain it. Just because maybe you buy an old house with Bermuda sod, that doesn't mean that Bermuda sod is gone. It just means it hasn't been cared for, and it can easily be brought back. Now I'm going to show some examples of that. I'm going to show two different examples. I'm going to show an example of a lawn that can be repaired and a lawn that really needs to be overseeded. So let me tell you about the two examples. First is going to be across the street. There's a rental property across the street, and I did a little experiment. I'm going to show that to you. I went over there and did a treatment on a little strip, and it's amazing the difference. The next example is an overseed example of my neighbor over here that I'm helping, that we don't know what the previous owners did, but the front lawn, the whole front yard, man, it's almost completely barren of Bermuda, any kind of sprigs. And this is May, we should have a lot of growth there, and there's almost nothing. So that is an example of overseeding, and I'm going to show that to you too. So before I get to that, let's talk about the big box store brand seeds. Here's the funny thing about the seed, and I'm going to go, I shot a little video earlier, excuse all the bugs. I shot a little video earlier explaining that they don't tell you what variety is. If you Google Bermuda grass seed, you'll see that there are tons of varieties. You've got Yukon, you've got Princess, you've got Tifway, you've got Sahara, you've got Savannah, you've got all kinds of different varieties, and they all grow differently. And you want to make sure that you actually keep the same variety together. Otherwise, it's going to look strange. They won't tell you what the variety is. If you call them, or if you text them, or if you chat with them, or go on like Home Depot or Lowe's and look at the question and answers, they actually respond and say, we don't say what variety is because it varies from time of year to time of year, but it is Bermuda grass. But, I mean, I see a big mistake all the time. People wanting to go repair bald spots or weak spots. And I'm telling you, the way to do that is to watch some of the videos that I made about fixing bare spots. Watch our Bermuda grass calendar. If you have an entire yard full of clover and weeds, but there's a tiny bit of Bermuda underneath there, you can kill off everything else and that Bermuda will come back. It'll take you a season. Anyways, let's go forward with this video, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's a bag of, let's say, as one example, there are a bunch of them out there. Here's a bag of Scott's Bermuda Grass seed. It will not say what variety it is until you get to the back. And this is going to change from availability. This one happens to be Savannah 2 Bermuda Grass, which is not a horrible Bermuda Grass. Savannah 2 is not bad. But is it going to match what I currently have? No. It's not going to match what I currently have, and you're going to definitely see variations in it. That's why I do not want you to overseed. A lot of people make the mistake of saying, well, I have a shady area. I'm going to overseed Bermuda in there. Look, there's only one type of Bermuda that grows in shade, first of all, and it's called chainsaw. That means you get your chainsaw and you cut down the trees. Bermuda doesn't grow in shade. There's one type of Bermuda that's a little bit better in shade growth, shade tolerance, but it's really expensive. It's like $150 for 5-pound bags, and it's used on courses, mainly golf courses. So the next question is how do I restore my lawn? Go to the Bermuda Grass calendar, watch our Bermuda Grass calendar video. That'll show you how to restore it. That's number one. Number two, if I'm going to show you some footage of a lawn, my neighbor over here, something happened to her lawn a year or two ago. I don't know what it was, but a large portion of the front was killed off, and it's so weak that we are actually going to overseed it. And I'm going to show you some footage comparison of my lawn versus her lawn. I'm going to probably put that up now, and I'll do a little bit more. But this was a decision to overseed that I didn't take lightly, but we overseeded it. And I'm going to show you the progress, so click the subscribe button, and I'll post up a progress video in a few weeks to show you how it's going. But at the same time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk across the street, and we have a rental property over here. That lawn has just been trashed for years. Nothing's been done to it. No fertilizer, no weed killer, anything. So it is actually a clover field. It's amazing. You're going to see the difference. I'm going to show you the difference between my lawn and that lawn over there. But what I did, let me tell you what I sneakily did. I snuck over there, and there's a strip of grass. You have their lawn, then you have the sidewalk, then you have a little strip. I went over there a few weeks ago, put down weed killer and fertilizer, and that's it. Now I'm going to show you the difference of how you can restore a horrible lawn. It really is amazing, the difference. Their lawn is solid clover and solid weeds, except for that one strip. I'm going to show that to you here. So you can see my Bermuda, and then I want you to look, nothing but clover. Solid clover. Solid clover and weeds over there. There's a little strip of grass on that sidewalk, and I'm going to walk over there and show it to you. So there's the untreated. And there's the treated. Now that's a great example of just a simple treatment of weed killer and fertilizer and some pre-emergent put down over there of how much you can turn around a lawn that you think is lost. I'm telling you, Bermuda will take care of itself if you let it and if you treat it properly. There's a great example of lawn that can be rescued that's weak versus a good lawn. I don't think you can get better than that as far as a good example. There's the property line right there. And this is what we're working to restore, and this is very restorable. So the main point of this video is do not overseed except as a last resort. You got that? It should be the absolute last resort. Remember, Bermuda grass started off as a weed, and because it's so aggressive and continually grows, and if you feed it, it'll just explode. You don't need to overseed. You just need to take care of the little bit of Bermuda that's left in your lawn, and it will absolutely explode. It will take a little bit of a while. It'll take a season. But you can do that. You can take a lawn like that, piece of crap over there, completely infested with weeds, kill off the weeds, feed the Bermuda will come back, and within a year you'll have a beautiful Bermuda lawn. The only exception to the rule is going to be when you have a massive die-off, and come May or June you still don't have Bermuda grass, then it's time to overseed. And if you overseed, you should overseed an entire area. So do the whole front lawn or the whole side lawn. If you start to do little patches and little spots, you're going to have all this weird, strange growth. So anyways, guys, I hope that answers the questions about should I overseed Bermuda sod. The answer is as an absolute last resort. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll do an update video on that overseed project, and that way it'll notify you when we actually put that up. Doc, how you do it?